The Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield, he is leading the multi-state lawsuit against President Trump's tariffs. And Dan Rayfield joins us now. Hey there, good evening. Great to see you.
Hey, thanks for having me. Good to see you.
All right, so Kelly said it, no shortage of reaction. So what's yours to the appeals court temporarily pausing the lower court's ruling that blocked the tariffs? Is this going to go all the way to the Supreme Court?
Yeah, first thing to note for everybody, you've had 4 judges in the United States that have ruled that the president has misused his emergency powers. And one of these judges was even appointed by Trump. So to talk about the presidential, overreach is really the pinpoint here. And the merits are just as good as now as when we filed the case. And the reality to this is a stay is just that. It periodically pauses given action so that the appellate court can consider the merits of the case. This isn't a ruling on the merits. So this isn't a victory for the President Trump, but they should be incredibly concerned that you have 4 judges ruling exactly the same.
Well, in preparing for tonight's interview, I watched you the last time you were on the Hill. I want to play a bit of sound from when you were here then, along with a bit more from the White House press secretary. Let's roll the tape.
It doesn't matter whether you're the president of the United States. It doesn't matter whether you are just a member of the community. You do have to follow the laws in our country.
These judges failed to acknowledge that the President of the United States has core foreign affairs powers and authority given to him by Congress to protect the United States economy and national security.
So Caroline Levitt says the judges have gone rogue. Who's right here?
Well, this is fascinating to me. And it's almost that the press secretary and the President Trump himself have forgotten what they learned in grade school. And when you go back to the Constitution, and we all agree that's what should control here, the Constitution gives Congress the power to set tariffs. That isn't an inherent presidential power. Congress has delegated some authority to the president under Title 19. That's not the law the president used. Every single president has used Title 19 laws. He used an emergency power. No president has ever used that power, and that's why he got struck down, and he's going to get struck down again. And the reason he wants to do that is because he wants to skirt the sideboards, the safeguards for our economy that Congress put in place. He doesn't want to do those. Those have limits on terms. Those have limits on the period in which that these tariffs can get administered. So he's trying to do this in a backwards way and find a loophole, and the judges said no.
Well, the three panel judges, the three panel of judges, my producers dug in to see, who appointed these judges. And one was Obama, one was Reagan, and one was Trump himself. But I want to get on to this. Consumers who are watching tonight, it's a lot of whiplash. It's a lot of back and forth. What does this mean for consumers in your state of Oregon and others as well?
This is the most important question that people should be focused on. This is $3,800 that would have been an increase to average households every year. This is expenses to businesses that won't go through if this court decision is upheld. In last week or 2 weeks ago, we had a decrease in revenue in the state, $700+ million in Oregon. That means less money for schools. And that decrease was tied to the uncertainty in tariffs. As costs of goods go up for a given state, again, that's less money we spend on schools, less money we spend on healthcare. This impacts us all. And even Trump's own studies show that these tariffs pass down to us, and they are a hidden tax disguised as a tariff on all of us.
Well, if you follow the White House on social media, they do this thing called the MAGA Minute every week. And what they would point to is the investments that have come in from overseas and onshoring jobs. I think we can show some of those examples as we then turn to your state as well. So also, Oregon's unemployment rate has been steadily rising since June of 2023, and it's outpacing the national rate. Is there a chance that these tariffs could be helping to bring jobs back to your state and, your efforts here are thwarting that?
No, I'm a big fan of facts, and the facts here are incredibly clear that this is not helping. And in fact, more importantly, the president takes an oath to follow the Constitution. The president takes an oath to follow the laws of our land. And Congress has given him some authority for tariffs. And tariffs can be incredibly helpful for the imbalance of power between nations. However, you have to follow those laws. He followed them during his first Trump administration, and he's choosing not to follow them now. And it's incredibly important that there are safeguards for our economy. And what I would tell you, $720+ million less in Oregon for revenue due to tariffs, that impacts schools, that impacts jobs. When you have, what I would tell you, products being pulled off of shelves in Canada for Oregon businesses, that impacts jobs. So the real facts here are that this is incredibly harming to all of us. And I would love people to just ask their neighbors, can you afford another $3,800 a year? That's a real question that we should all be asking ourselves.
Well, we know which tax bracket that would impact the most, for sure. Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield, we appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.